Okay, so now we're looking at day two, or more than day two, but this is the second coating on the first side. So maybe that's how I'm thinking of it in day two. I have my paint thinner, my varnish. I'm using steel wool instead of copper wool because I use the copper wool on the boat because it doesn't rust. And if you don't pick up all the little pieces on the boat, you're going to get little rust spots. So I have the copper, but I won't be using it here. Of course, the gloves, which keep the oil from my hands off of the wood. And you can see that little robot. I like how well it cleans the floor. It vacuums first and then it mops. And it does seem, over and over and over and over again, it does seem to do a pretty good job. If you think of it as one time, not so great. It's good, it's not so great. But over and over and over again, it does a pretty good job. Now, what's happening here is it's dripping from the other side. One reason, of course, is it's very thin. It's just mostly varnish, 50% varnish. I was using these glass jars to hold up the boards, but they were in the middle. And if any future dripping happens and it occurs around where the glass jar was holding it, then that's going to be a big mess for me to clean up. So I think just supporting these bars right at the edges, which I think are bronze or brass anyway, so I'm not varnishing those. I think this might be a better solution. You know, I'm kind of new at this stuff, so we'll see. I'll do a little bit of scruffing with the steel wool, and then, I have the cheesecloth too. I'll show that over there in the materials. Wipe it down with the cheesecloth, and then do maybe 20 or 30% varnish. I'm sorry, 20 or 30% thinner, and then 70 or 80% varnish for the next coat. All right, just to update the material, I have the gloves to keep the oil from my hands off of the boards. The steel wool, the varnish. This is not used anymore. And then I have the tack cloth, which should pick up all of whatever is left from the scruffing with steel wool. Then the measuring device, which is good for measuring. And then a filter, just to make sure that you get really good varnish in the container. All right, so it's scruffed up. That doesn't look that much different than it did before, but after wiping it down with my tack cloth, my cheesecloth, you can see that yes, in fact, there are some necessary cleaning required. And in my other video about material, show the brushes that I used too, which I didn't add to the materials. There's a lot of bubbles on this first coat. Let's see if you can see them. Yeah, see there? You can sort of see them. I don't know. I've brushed over it a few times. Doesn't seem to make any difference. So I might have a lot more scruffing to do on the next one. But this coat here looks decent. Get a little bit of varnish, maybe 20% thinner, but I did pour the 50% thinner back into the container yesterday, so that might be thinning down a little bit thinner varnish. Anyway, it's starting to look decent. A lot of work to do. I'm leaving Thursday morning to go back out to the boat. And today is Saturday, so that leaves me Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm not gonna get enough coats on it to take it back because I'm not gonna have enough coats, so I'll have to wait for the next trip out there to have this finished and take it back out onto the boat.